Hello, twos, and welcome to your Winter Solstice Insight Reveal. This is Tracy from Inspired Chi. I wanted to talk for a moment about the winter solstice, where we take a moment to go within, and as at the very darkest day, we look for each day to get a little bit brighter and shed a little bit more sun as we move forward. So that's a focus I'm keeping in these readings, and I would love for you guys to keep as we move through the holiday season and beyond and into the new year. I am in Philadelphia, so I am going to apologize if you hear some shoveling and scraping out there. We've had some snow, but I tried to find a quiet place. This might be as good as it gets. So, first thing that we're doing is we're introducing the Angel Answers Tarot, or it's not tarot, it's an oracle to our collection. This is going to be the first time in the general reading that I will be using this. We're going to do a rune card for the cycle that you're in, an angel message to end, and 6 tarot cards for each to just try and get a little bit more of a defined message. It's important to remember these are general readings. Not everyone will resonate with you. Parts of it may not be for you. Some of it may not even happened yet. So, but usually you'll know. You'll know if it's the messages are coming to you directly through synchronicities and other coincidences that go on, and deeper meditation in your messages. But the first message that you're getting is communicate clearly. So it's really easy for things to get mixed up, especially when stress is heightened, especially if communication is coming over email, text message, or can be misconstrued in some way. So make sure that your needs are being met. Make sure that you're communicating those needs clearly. Make sure that you are communicating your soul clearly, okay? And keep that in mind too for other people. It may be difficult for them to articulate what they want to say, and just to have a little bit of patience with that over the next couple of weeks. For some of you, not all of you, there may be a separation in a relationship or a marriage that might be happening, or a relationship where you may be reflecting on that, because this does feel very emotional. It feels more love and emotionally related than it does career or otherwise. But again, take it as it resonates for you. Rune card saying the cycle that we're dealing with right now is a cycle of separation. It's not always a separation of a relationship, but it usually indicates a shedding of an old skin and old molding, and kind of two people or two parties or two energies taking a step back, going to their separate corners. So that's one of the messages that's coming through the runes, the cycle that you're in. Maybe not nothing or not anything that you did specifically, but maybe just the season. I mean, it is a solstice. We are that seed. We are shedding. The trees are, bare. It is winter. It is time for that reflection, and to see when the spring comes and breaks, what you're going to invite back into your life and what you're not. Because the next card that you have here is the Star card, which is a major arcana. And this talks about hope, renewal, new beginnings, and wish fulfillment. And it's the first thing that's coming out for you. And what's really interesting, I'm trying to do this with 2 hands. I have this little camera in front of me, so I'm trying to get a better angle for you guys in general. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, so I can't do them next to each other at this moment, but followed by the Star card, which again, wish fulfillment, renewal, and hope. You have the Sun card, okay, which is pretty much the best card you can get in a tarot deck. It's positivity. It is a change of a major cycle, and a very positive change, turn of luck. So that being, see, I'll get this. See, boom. This with the Star card and the Sun card coming out. So that's the energy that is leaping out of your reading, okay? And because they're both majors, anything else that comes into play that's being removed right now or being reflected upon right now, or that shedding of the skin or relationships or the person that you used to be, whatever that is for you specifically, it's very timely that you do that now. It'll be very lucky for you to do it, even if it's a painful experience. But to me, this feels like the very end of something. It's not a surprise to you. Maybe it's something you've been planning to do for a while, or something that you did a while ago and you knew you just had to really have that last piece of reflection. Some things you don't really ever get closure from, and that sounds kind of negative. But what I mean is, you move on, you get your closure, you learn, you have your spiritual growth, your awakenings. Hopefully you don't make the same lessons again. But it doesn't mean that from time to time you're not going to be sad about it, or it's not going to be painful. Like at the beginning of this, reading, I was saying about letting each day where that light comes in, fill your soul with positivity and light, and try and come back to a more positive space as we move into the next year. But that's not an easy feat, and I'm well aware of that. I'm just like anybody else. We have our good days and our bad days, and we'll have a couple of weeks that we're just in a funk or a rut, and then we'll have other weeks where we feel like everything is in flow. Okay, that's just the part of the seasons of our soul, and the winter solstice is a really great time to acknowledge that, not be too hard on ourselves, and finally let go of things that have held us back, old belief systems, old pain, really. Because this talks about the Temperance card, which is also a major card. You had 3 majors pop out in the beginning of the reading. And it really just talks about not so much balance, but an acceptance of the good and the bad, of the light and the dark, of the situation, of your life as it moves on, how it pertains to you. So there's a lot of lessons coming in 2020 that I feel like you're going to have these epiphanies at the end of the year in where to put these new things that you've learned or these feelings that you've had and how to make them constructive. Because next we're talking about tradition. Okay, and this is also the marriage card for some people, but the way that it's here sitting with another card, it doesn't feel like happy marriage. It could feel like being trapped in some type of, whether this is the institution of marriage, the institution of education. If you are a healthcare worker, the institution of maybe the hospital that you go to every day, that it feels like the walls are closing in at times. This doesn't feel like a good Hierophant card to me. It doesn't feel like the higher spirit energy of it. It feels like just being trapped in the 4 walls of where you've been and where you're expected to be, and not really feeling like you can move. But in with the King of Cups, we talk about genuine feeling and going with your heart and a sensitivity and having that compassion, which incidentally you'll end with, and you'll see that in a moment. So this talks about having a lot of a compassion for yourself and the changes that you will undergo in 2021, as well as what you've gone through in 2020. So we're ending a cycle. This is not my favorite card in the deck, but what I do like is that it is a 10, which means this is really the end of it. So again, I don't really feel like this is new because of all the beautiful, powerful cards you already have, but I do feel like these are old wounds and betrayals that might come to the surface over the next couple of days and weeks. Just to look at the fact that whatever it taught you, and not in a hardened way, like it taught you not to trust, I don't mean like that, but sometimes to know that the awful things that happen to us that are part of our growth, we wouldn't be who we are if they didn't happen, okay, as awful as they are. And we're ending with the Angel of Compassion. You and I are one. When we are compassionate, we are able to understand others from deep within ourselves. This attitude brings a light that reveals truth and a love that transforms and heals. To be compassionate is to be equal one another as with oneself. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it resonated for some of you. Next week, there will be a full moon. I will not be doing a video at this time. I'm going to take some holiday time with my family, but it will be a good time to reflect during the solstice and release what no longer serves you next week with that last full moon of 2020. And I'll have something planned for you for the new year to look for. And thank you for your support. Have a great holiday season, no matter what you celebrate.